Well, it looks like Keir Starmer's in the box seat. What would a Labor government mean now for Britain?
I think that's such an important question, not least because Keir Starmer is an incredibly slippery character. He's tried not to say very much during this campaign. Historically, he's often said one thing and then said another, depending on who he's talking to. But it's very clear to me that if you're talking about reopening the question of Brexit, if you're talking about more hate speech codes, if you're talking about more net zero zealotry, that's in the DNA of this Labour Party. It is now very much the kind of parliamentary wing of the metropolitan elite. And I think anyone expecting Keir Starmer to be as cautious in government as he has been over this campaign may get a bit of a rude awakening in the days ahead.
Nigel Farage's Reform Party had climbed their way up in the polls, particularly over the last month, but they've had a bit of a setback. How do you think that they will fare in the polls?
That is one of the big questions going into this. Some of the pollsters at the last minute are starting to suggest that maybe the Reform vote has been slightly underestimated. They're seeing a lot of undecideds beginning to break for the Reform Party. So I think the question of how high their vote share overall, it will be an interesting one. They're very unlikely to get more than one or a few seats because of just our electoral system and the fact that their vote is quite spread across the country. It's not concentrated in constituencies necessarily. But I think they're looking at, regardless, a significant incursion into British electoral politics. And even if that doesn't materialise into many seats in Westminster, it means they will have that more populist voice in Parliament, at least in the form of Nigel Farage, it seems like.
We're almost out of time, but when will the first seats be announced in the UK? Do you think it'll start happening quite quickly?
Yeah, essentially from 10 o'clock onwards, we've got the exit poll, and then there'll be some seats in the North East, which are always kind of rushing to declare first so they can get their moment in the spotlight. That will be very much the kind of bellwether for where things are going. But yes, they'll be rolling in pretty soon after that and throughout the night.
All right, well, we've actually got some live pictures on our screen of some of the polling booths there as they are getting ready for what I'm sure will be a very busy day ahead. That's live in London at the moment. Tom, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Really appreciate it.